Hi, I'm Samantha Fletcher, a diversity and education consultant and a recent graduate and current teaching fellow at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. Prior to this past year at Harvard, I spent 11 years in PK and kindergarten classrooms, as well as training and coaching teachers, parents, and adults. My time was spent at the intersection primarily of teaching and doing considerable DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion work. I'm so honored to be with you in the company of fellow lovers of early childhood education. I want to talk to you today about being a truly inclusive leader, a leader, an inclusive leader of students, not only students, of adults as well. How are we seeing the people we are responsible for? How are we treating them, considering them, valuing them, including them? We are all different one from another, and we say we value difference. Yet, what happens when some members of our school community or classrooms are vastly different from the majority in some way? I'll start with a student example. One day in my PK class years ago, in walks a classmate, brown skin, curious eyes, and for the first time, happily wearing her beautiful, long, fluffy, poofy hair down, at which the majority of the class, none of whom had skin or hair like hers, stopped to point and laugh, loudly asking why she'd made her hair so ridiculous. I tried diffusing the situation, and I mostly did, but the damage was done. The innocent girl was crushed, and the more I thought about it, the kids laughing, they were innocent too. They're 4-year-olds, and they were pointing out something they had never seen and wrongly assumed was silly. I wanted my classroom to be different, supportive, and affirming. If left unaddressed, this was where labeling and stereotyping of marginalized groups begins. I realized the culture at my school, the advice from leaders, all our addressing of difference was primarily done when being reactive. That had become the norm. Suddenly it hit me. What if I were proactive? I got to work researching, spending countless hours. I designed a curriculum that proactively and age appropriately incorporated race, diversity, and identity starting at the preschool level, introducing all my students to aspects of culture and identity like and different from their own to educate them before they had a chance to ridicule such differences. I'll come back to that. In an unfortunate twist, while I was working feverishly to make my class this welcoming space, my division head was doing the opposite. I was constantly dismissed, undervalued, treated as if my work was subpar, despite my overtime and dedication. I was crushed. My excitement began dwindling. I began to question, to doubt myself. Was there value in me, in my work? Fortunately, I kept pushing. Word spread outside of my school about my new curriculum, and ultimately, I found myself sharing my new identity inclusive approach by training teachers and leaders around the region and then around the country. What's more, my dedication paid off. I was one of only 8 students from around the world chosen to be a Harvard Salsa Fellow for excellence in and commitment to early childhood education. What's more, they invited me back as a speaker for their annual Science of Early Learning and Adversity Conference. So, why is all this important? Well, later I would find out that my dismissive division head had a predetermined vision of what she wanted her program to look like, who she wanted teaching it, the kind that she figured would be best for students and parents. She wanted a space with teachers who looked a certain way and were from a certain class, a vision my skin tone and family wealth status did not fit. A vision based in stereotypes, and that no amount of work I could have done would have changed things. Even when something like this is unintentional, it can be hurtful. Plus, because of her narrow view, prejudging and predetermining, she discounted and missed out on the awesome things I was doing. I met some other teachers at my trainings who were encountering similar treatment. It occurred to me that we needed to make our early childhood spaces welcoming for students and our teachers. How many times are our biases, blind spots, and preconceived notions causing us to make students or educators feel stagnant? How much are they causing us to miss out on diamonds among us? Are we hiring, retaining, supporting the best teachers, or those that fit some predetermined vision that is really unfair? I'll share with you a culminating project that I have students do as part of the identity curriculum. What I call the identity portrait collages. And as you'll see, students choose skin tone paper as their background, and then they build a face from items that allow peers to learn something about one another that they can't tell just by looking. It's a way that we talk about prejudging and stereotyping at the PK and K levels. Should we consider this too as adults? Who are we excluding because of our own stereotypes, prejudices, and blind spots that we often don't realize we have? Further, who are we unintentionally excluding by not intentionally creating spaces that are welcoming and that instill a welcoming and affirming nature? In either of these cases, we're perpetuating the racism and injustice we oppose, leading to undesired outcomes when we're not doing the right thing. Ask yourself, are all the students entrusted to your care feeling seen, heard, and valued, like they can bring the whole of themselves there? Does the same go for your teachers? In this unprecedented time of schooling in a pandemic, when we are returning to schools where many students and adults are returning from nurturing homes, we should be sure we are fully nurturing them too. In this pandemic time, where we are unlearning old ways and relearning new methods of instilling ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and SEL, let's reflect, become aware of our biases, and be judgment-free and inclusive of the youngest and oldest of folks entrusted to our care. Thank you.